No, thank you for having me. Yeah, so first of all, I hope I appreciate you having me on here, George, and I hope everyone has a really good camp and just work hard and enjoy playing. That's always been the most important part of I think of sports, and that's kind of a general philosophy that we have here at Ferrum. So as George mentioned, we're located in Virginia. We're lucky that we're located like on the southernmost of part of Virginia. So we're about an hour away from North Carolina. So we're in Virginia, but we get the nice weather, which is a good part. So it's normally not as cold or as snowy as lots of the other parts of Virginia are. So that's a nice thing, especially from with players coming from Asian countries. I know it's quite warm there, so it's not too much of a big change. But there's enough of a change for you to make sure you put on a jacket when you go outside in the winter. But no, so we're located in Ferrum, Virginia. Where it's a very green area, that's for sure. It's a very picturesque area. We're located about 30-40 minutes from the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is known for its view and for the hiking trails. So there's lots of different outdoor things that you can do here. We just on campus we have different trails just running through campus and through the mountains just right next to campus, which is a really nice thing. And the great thing, Ferrum, we really embrace the outdoors, so we really use the trails to really do different things like like mountain biking. We like to do lots of kayaking. And actually, just yesterday with the boys, we done like a trail cleanup. Everyone on Ferrum is very invested in the outdoors, and we want to try and maintain and keep it clean. But no, that's kind of one of the big attractions, apart from the footballing side of what Ferrum is all about. So we're not located in a big city or anything like that, but the good part about that is you're in a very nice nature area, and you can really focus on your studies and your football and really enjoy the great outdoors, I guess you could say. But no, with Ferrum, so this is my going into my first year as the head coach, and I've been very lucky to work here last year as the assistant coach. So I was kind of around the program obviously, and I was able to do a lot. But this year, we're really trying to plant the seeds for long-term success. Ferrum has always been a program that maybe was never the best, but definitely in recent years we're starting to compete for playoff positions. And we like for example, last year we missed out on the conference tournament just on goal difference. So it was heartbreaking, but at the same time probably necessary for some of our players to drive that hunger to get to that stage for the following years. But no, I think when looking at the soccer program, in terms of what I personally look for, what we look for in players, is there's really only probably three elements that we really look for. Number one is that whatever we do, whether we're on the pitch or the classroom, we always give 120%. We always want to work to an absolute maximum in whatever we do. The second thing is we always want our players to be good people. We want them to be good in the community. We want them to be good, respectful teammates. We want them to be respectful to their instructors. In general, we want them to be good people, right? And the third thing is we obviously want them to do well in the classroom. A lot of the times, players want to go and play professionally, which is great. But just as Coach Alex just said before, the most important achievement you can have is making sure you have a degree at the end of your 4 years. So those are the three things that we really look for when we look to recruit. Those three things is really based on the mentality of the player. I think it's especially in the modern game where players are very technical for the most part, and a lot of teams and clubs and whatever they play a certain style which encourages players to play and take risks and things like that. So the important thing for us is we want players to take risks. We want them to express themselves on the pitch, but we want them to have the right mentality in terms of their fight and their desire. You know what I mean? For us, that's the most important things for us. And, you know, like I was saying before, we're kind of in the middle of a culture change in terms of the way things are done and the way Ferrum is going to be known as in the ODAC, which is the conference that we compete in. And, you know, what we strive to do is to be kind of known as a program that is very workmanlike. You know, we have quality players, but, you know, we want our players to be the hardest working players in the league, which is what we aspire to be. And it can seem a little bit, I guess, tougher for us because, you know, we compete in the ODAC, and the ODAC is a very tough conference. A lot of the schools have a very physical, you know, they have lots of American players. But, you know, we're probably the only school that has lots of internationals. So, you know, we need to match their intensity, but we perhaps, you know, we probably take a little bit longer to develop physically because, you know, as internationals, maybe they're not raised to have a big emphasis on the physical side. And that kind of goes on to the three Thai boys that Georgia sent us, which again, we really appreciate. I actually just had some phone calls with them just the past week. And, you know, with them, I have no doubts about their technical ability. But it's going to be how they physically develop and how they physically mature throughout their first college semester, I guess, in order for them to really propel themselves to meet that level and then to meet levels beyond, if that makes sense. So, no, I think in general, you know, if I was to sum, I know I've kind of spoken a lot about, you know, Ferrum and what we want to do and what we're all about. In general, we want obviously good technical players who can make great decisions. But the main priority for us is to have players with the right mentality so we can move the program in the right direction, to where we'll have, maybe we're not just competing for the playoff spot, but we're then competing for conference championships. So that's the direction that we want to head in. In terms of our academics, you know, what Ferrum is really known for is the business management programs. We're quite known for criminology. That's quite a big program at Ferrum, and lots of people come from all over the country to do criminology. And a lot of the exercise science and sports management, that's what we're also well known for as well. And a lot of our players probably, you know, very much like Life University, a lot of our players tend to move towards the exercise science and sports management kind of majors. But no, I mean, in general, I think Ferrum has fantastic things to offer players for sure. Just in terms of the environment and the I guess one-to-one attention for the student in the classrooms because of our kind of smaller school size. But, you know, in general, you know, just like everywhere else, you know, it's what you make of it. You know, it doesn't matter where you go to, you know, how far you go in your future, and what determines your success is what you do at whatever program you're in. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Did I cover all the points there, George?
Well, yes, sir. But, you know, I like to explore and get more elaboration because with your background, you play national for Australia, right? Before you came here as a goalie. So could you share that experience that you play at the highest level in junior in Australia, played for national team, and how you decided to come to US and to play, and also, you know, now you are head coach?
Yeah, for sure. So, where to start here? So, obviously, you know, I don't know if you guys can tell, but, you know, from my accent, it's obviously very it's Australian. But my parents were from Vietnam, so I don't have, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes sort of thing, and don't surf all the time, and I'm not 6'1" or anything like that. So my parents were, you know, from Vietnam, so I completely understand the Asian culture, even though I was born and raised in Australia. You know, so, you know, growing up, academics was always a big focal point, you know, for me growing up. you know, how I stumbled upon, I guess, the, you know, being able to represent Australia and everything like that, you know, was just pure luck. You know, I played at like kind of the, when I was 16, I played at the, I guess you could say the third division in Australia. So, you know, I was a 16-year-old playing with men, you know, men who are, you know, who were playing at the highest level and had just recently maybe got let go of different professional clubs or academies or whatever it is. So, you know, that was a great learning curve for me. And then just through luck, you know, I met the, at the time, Coach Bingham, and he asked me to come out to I guess a training camp, and then that's kind of how things kicked on from there. And then, you know, being I guess a young player with my head in the stars, you know, I thought, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play professionally, this and that. But luckily, I had, you know, great parents who really kept me grounded, and they said, you know, you obviously need to get your degree, and see, you know, that's the most important part, you know, regardless of, you know, at least you have something to fall back on. And, you know, that's kind of where the opportunity to go to America to play college soccer came about. And, you know, I always say, you know, me deciding to go to, well, my parents and I deciding for me to go to college to play soccer and get a degree was the best decision of my life. You know, I've met some great people. You know, I had a top college, well, I wouldn't say a top college career, but, you know, I was able to win a conference and all those things as a college player. And I met lots of different people, met some great people throughout the process. And, you know, just going through that journey, you know, that's where I am today, you know, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. You know, I enjoy and love what I do every day, and I meet good people all the time, and I'm very grateful to meet people like you know, like you guys, and I'm grateful to know George. You know, I know our relationship has been very recent, but I'm very thankful that, you know, now I get to bring in some players from Thailand. You know, I've never really experienced players from Thailand, so, you know, this will be very fun for sure.
Great. And then you know, basically you work in a professional club here, right, in US, before
Yeah.
you know, came into college. So is there a big difference between a youth level, professional, and then college?
So I worked on the coaching staff of an NPSL team. So, you know, I think I guess if I'm comparing my experiences, I guess the pathway for myself as a youth player was, you know, it's very much senior orientated. So, you know, when you grow up in, you know, at the time I played for as a young player, I played for like a I guess a semi-professional club that had a reputation for sending players to go play professionally in Europe and in Argentina. So, you know, for us, it was always about making the first team. So even though we were playing for, you know, the under 16s or whatever, if you'd done well, then you would have gotten called up to the under 21s. And if you'd done well for the under 21s, you would have gone on to play for the senior squad. So I guess that youth system is a little bit different to the American system, where, you know, you kind of play for, you know, there's so many different leagues now, you know, I don't even know, like CCL or ENCL or, you know, whatever it is. So I guess that system differs from there. But if I'm looking at from, you know, I guess the NPSL, and I compare it to the college level, you know, it's different. The level of, I would say, in some ways, the preparation in terms of, you know, how players treat themselves individually to get to that next level. I think sometimes in different colleges, you know, some players will maybe not aspire to make it to the professional level. So, you know, maybe they don't treat their bodies as professional as they should. But when you get to that level, at the NPSL level, you know, all players want to go play at the highest level. You know, their aspirations to go play in the USL or whatever it is, you know. So I think that individually the quality can be a little bit different, a little bit higher. And you know, with that, you know, comes a level of professionalism in terms of how they do things, you know, showing up every day to training, performing at a certain level, and eating right, and all that stuff. I hope that answers your question.